as it stands today, it is unrealistic to expect autonomy for local governments created by the Constitution. They were not meant to be autonomous. That is my view after a very, very close reading of certain provisions of the Constitution. Some of those provisions provide, for example, that the local government, in its economic activities and all of that, will have laws made for it by the State House of Assembly. If you look at the legal and ordinary meaning of the word autonomy, it suggests that you are acting independently without any outside influence and authority. And to that extent, a State House of Assembly making laws for what and how a local government can function is in itself an external influence that contradicts the idea of autonomy. The next thing, of course, is to look in the fourth schedule of the Constitution and look at all of the responsibilities that are assigned to local governments, such as the operation of slaughterhouses, abattoirs for animals, cemeteries, building of roads, advertising hoardings, primary schools, primary healthcare centers. All of those responsibilities are dependent on one item, land. And to the extent that the state government controls land, which affects how the local governments will carry out these functions, I didn't think that autonomy was intended. Now, if we now decide that we want autonomous local government, those are some of the things we have to free up, if that is our decision. So we must have an agreement, but as it stands, I don't think that autonomy was intended. What I think was intended was some sort of collaboration, some sort of supervision, some sort of oversight of the state over the local government. And that is inherent in what you will find in Section 162, which deals with the state joint local government account. And there is history behind the enactment of that section, because up till 1999, the local governments used to collect their monies directly from the Federation account under a process that I think was known as JAC, Joint Accounts and Allocation something. But in the advent of the democratic era, it was found out that there were so many of them, or not a few of them, who had defaulted in the very basic obligation of paying staff salaries, primary healthcare workers, primary school teachers, salaries and pensions, and there was a backlog of debt. And I met some of that debt when I became governor, and we were working then. And I think that is partly the history behind the creation of the state joint local government account, to ensure that there was some supervision.